The tall, gangly thing?
Hello and welcome. It's been a while, but today I am joined by a very special guest. It is Stellar Minhee joining me before the Midset Finale coming up this weekend. Stellar, thank you so much for joining me. For anyone who may not know too much about you, why don't you just go ahead first and tell me a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Aaron, also Stellar Minhee. Also, it's usually Minhee, not the Stellar part. And I've been
Ah,
getting people to tell me I should just drop the Stellar part because this like mix-up happens often. But to be honest, probably wouldn't be able to do it on ladder because I'd probably have to pay to get the name Minhee. But on Tournament Realm, I'll probably make the switch for next set just in case because that's what Clear told me. And then Nature's also told me to it's like more clean if I dropped it. And I guess
wait, is it a
Hmm?
reference to something that I just don't know?
It's just a K-pop. It's like a member of a K-pop
Gotcha.
group. But my other username before this was really bad, so there's no point like reverting back to it. I may as well just keep with what I have and just cut off one part of it, so that
Right. Yeah,
it's
it's
a lot
time for the
easier.
rebrand.
Yeah,
Makes
it's not like a
sense.
total rebrand, you know?
Sure. Yeah. It's like a refresh.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your history in competitive TFT because I think people have been seeing your name pop up more recently, but
Mhm.
definitely I don't think people would consider you in this old guard or even like kind of that mid guard of players. Set 7, I think, is when people started to really see your name pop up.
Mhm.
So why don't you just break down, give me the history of your competitive TFT career?
So I started playing like this type of genre with Dota autochess, and then I just moved over to set one for when TFT dropped because I wasn't really a Dota player, and it was sort of tough trying to figure out what the champions did and whatnot. And whenever they added new like heroes, I was like, "What the heck is this? Like, I don't really understand." I was always a league player, but it was pretty bad. Set one, set two, I hated, so I stopped at platinum. And then set three, when I really started like playing a bit more seriously, I hit masters or something. Then I signed up for one of those open liquid qualifiers in set three,
Mhm.
which were
The most
not
cursed tournament of
yeah,
all
so it's not
time.
very well run. But I did top eight one of them, but I think it was just a patch thing. I was like a masters player. It was like a reroll patch. It was like Void Sins. There was like Shredder, and then there was some sort of Ziggs reroll
The
comp.
Ziggs thing. Yep, I
Yeah,
remember
so
that.
I just rerolled one of those three comps all the way into top eight, and I got like blasted in the end because I think there's someone was also one tricking Void Sins, so they just cut off one of the lines, and it was like, well, whatever. I'll just I was like, it's my first tournament. It's not that big of a deal. But then after that, I never really got very far in terms of LP or tournaments either. I might have played one more like liquid open qualifier, but after like all the like they weren't run well and it's like not really worth the time investment to continue competing. And then set four came out. I think I didn't really like set four or 4.5, despite what other people say about like how flexible or fun the set was, like the chosen. I think it was just too hard for me, and I didn't really want to spend the time to like learn the set properly. So I just played to master zero LP and quit. Set five, I thought I was gonna play competitive as well, so I was climbing pretty fast, I guess, into like 300 LP, and then I think one patch dropped, and it became some sort of 3-2 roll down vertical meta, and then I
Yep.
lost like 200 LP, and I was like, yeah, this is not really it, and then I quit the set as well. And then set 5.5, I was like, when I actually like got to a really high rank, I hit 1.2k LP after sitting at zero for like I guess four sets in a row. So and then I tried to play a fight night, but like the set like the tournament format then, I don't even think there might have been one tournament in 5.5 and then LCQ, so I couldn't really even join the competitive circuit then. So that happened. Six came, and I think I was a bit hard stuck because of augments. I didn't really understand what to do, so I didn't have a chance to play in any tournaments. Then 6.5, I got back to like 1,200 LP again, but once again, it's like it's the point 0.5 set, and there's not really like there's even now and set seven, the point 0.5 sets. There's one tournament in LCQ, and it's sort of hard to like continue far, I guess, if
Mhm.
you didn't do anything in the base set, right? So you won't have enough qualifier points, and then for me, I'm not a strong ladder player, so there's no point going for the ladder snapshot spot as well. And like it's always been taken over by Setsuko, Dishope, Sox, whoever else like sits on rank 1 for a long time. So that's like why I first started. Even though I've been challenger in 5.5, like high challenge, not like 700 LP, 800 LP, like high challenger in like 5.5, 6.5. That's why in set 7 was my first like start, because I actually got off to a good start in 7 as well. So I
Yeah,
was
I
able to play
remember.
in Astral Cup.
Yeah, yep.
Astral Cup was the first one I played in, and I played through the day 1 as well, because I don't think I'm actually that good at solo queue until recently. Like I'm not disciplined enough. I'll play like too many fun lines and just grief my own LP. So Astral Cup, I ran day 1 all the way to day 4. I think I placed like 20 something, whatever. It's like pretty good for a first tournament. That's what I thought. Jade Cup comes around as well, and I also missed the top 32 snapshot, so I had to play day 1 again. And then I had, coming out of day 3, I had 3-point bonus. Then I ended up 20 something again in like the same placing in Jade. So I was like, sure, that's fine. It's like it's good enough for mid set or whatnot. And then played mid set. I made it to day 2.
Mhm.
That's like not bad. I guess I got money out of it, but like it's not. I guess mid set is harder, so I can't really be expecting to make the final lobby my first mid set or whatnot. Especially this is that was my first like actual set competing, and I was doing all this by myself. I didn't really have like a study group or anything. I just watched other people play and try to take like what I could get out of their gameplay. And especially I learned a lot from like Frodan when he's like VOD reviewing like the China gameplay. For me, like I can't really do it by myself. Like it's sort of boring to just sit there and watch VODs by yourself, just trying to think about it yourself. It's like Frodan like leads the conversation, whatever, and he tries to like talk to his chatter and whatnot, and then I pick up stuff from that, and then I try to think about it myself as well. So I learned a lot from that, and then 7.5 comes, and I just basically disappear off the face of the earth because I take a vacation like right before Dragon Cup, and I have no LP, and I had to play through day 1 again, and then it's just like I played really mediocre TFT essentially. And I just get day 2'd, and then
Mm.
I try to make the run for, well, obviously that's like day 4, and day 2 is not enough qualifier points for regionals. So that means I have to the only chance to make regionals was to push my LP for LCQ, but I sort of ran it down as well right beforehand. I was debating on whether or not to like sit because I was at 1200, and then I looked at I was counting down the spots, and it was like, wait, I for sure have to play, and then I just ran it all the way down, and it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. And so here we are, set
Dang,
8.
I gotta say, I don't think many players could recount their entire history from set 1 to now that in
Mhm.
that much detail. I'm actually impressed with how much you've retained over the years.
Well, I think it's
Um,
easier for me because I sat out. I basically sat out 4 and 5, like
sure.
4.5, right?
Yeah, but you
Uh,
remember like your LP breakpoints and things like that, which is not always that easy to
well, I
remember
feel like
too.
LP breakpoints. Well, for me, it's either 0 or like
0, 300, 1200, I guess. Yeah, I guess
yeah,
it's a little bit
not that.
easier.
Yeah.
But so you actually came up watching a lot of these players. I didn't realize that you've been in the scene for so long. So
Mhm.
was there actually a moment in time where you felt like you went from watching Soju, Kyun, Robin, Milk, like the old guard of TFT, and all of a sudden you're now competing against them? Was there actually this moment of almost like fandom or excitement when you're in a tournament lobby for them with them?
I think I sort of got over all of that when I first hit Challenger and started like playing against them.
Mm,
I don't think there's. I don't know. Like people say, I guess the tournament lobbies like they're harder, and there's like no random like masters players in them or whatever that makes it harder. But like playing against them, I guess I've already done it for 1.5 sets before playing a competitive game with them. And also I guess playing the day 1s was actually quite helpful for my
mm.
first tournament, because it's like no nerves. And generally I guess I did have tournament experience technically, but those liquid tournament, like I guess liquid tournaments are
No, no,
like.
no, no. For anyone who's watching this video and was not around in TFT, not around TFT in set 3, the Liquid tournaments, to make it as short as possible, was a platform that Liquid had released. It was a website where they hosted these tournaments. And I remember the first week in particular, it was just crashing nonstop. People were waiting hours for their next lobby. It was a train wreck. One of the most beautiful messes in TFT history. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's technically tournament experience, but you probably would have gotten better experience out of a fight night than the liquid qualifiers.
Yeah, but the liquid qualifiers, I guess there's more pressure to do well because you can't really bot four to make it over. Like, because it's one
Yeah, it
game
was
and
like
then,
top half moves on,
yeah,
right?
it's
Is that
top
what it
half
was?
cuts after one game, like all the way from like
Yeah.
256 to 8 or something. And it's like, if you
Robin
bot.
won one of those, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Yeah, there were like a handful of players that actually walked away. Like as poorly ran as they were, it was
Yeah.
won usually by a very good player. Obviously, makes sense, but it did give it a certain level of validity. I would say.
Hmm. But like those ones were, I would say they were more high pressure because if you ball for once, it's sort of like a really big hole to dig yourself out of,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can't even ball for your first game because it's a cut in half. Like you have to top four your first game no matter what, otherwise you're
Right.
just out.
All right, well,
So
let's move on to where we are today. So, what I'd like for you to do is give me the elevator pitch for anyone who's watching this interview has never watched any of your gameplay before. Break down, I guess, generally speaking, your play style, your strengths. What do you like to do when you play TFT?
I guess my playstyle is I try to play TFT like more dog intended or whatever, flexibly, whatever I hit, whatever augments I have or like items, then play around that. I think a lot of it is because I watch a lot of socks as well. But like I can be like one of the hard forcers, just like start this item every game, commit to this comp at like off the first carousel even, and but in tournaments as well, my tournament gameplay is a lot different than my ladder. My ladder, I try to play like a lot of fun lines. Usually, like for example, this set, I'm on ladder. I think I would always take a 2-1 admin spat or like a +1 admin without knowing what my admin is, just to have
Mm.
fun with it. Because I honestly, at that admin is like a really fun part of this set, and I hope to keep it like going over to the point 5. That's something I would do in a ladder game. I don't know if I would actually rip a 2-1 admin crest in a tournament game without like
Sure, sure.
knowing what it already was. So I guess on ladder I'm more experimental, which is why, and I'm not very like disciplined either. I'll greet a lot, and then
Mhm.
that tends to lead to my LP being not very high because I'm just trying to play new things. But in tournaments, I actually like I roll deep on 7 or 6 if my spot isn't very good, and I don't try to go for like a full win out. I would say so.
Do you
I
feel like
guess.
does that come from, I guess, the amount of value you place on ladder? Like, do you feel like you could perform on ladder like you do in tournament? Because obviously, I mean, your tournament history has been quite positive, especially as of
Mhm.
late.
Um, I think I would probably burn out if I was playing like that on
Yeah,
ladder, like every
sure,
single
that makes
game,
sense.
trying
Well,
to
let's
make
talk about let's
yeah make those decisions.
yeah, let's talk about the tournaments you've played in this set. Because you played both Defender and Corrupted Cup,
Hmm.
made top 30, you made day 4 on
Yeah,
in both, and you made top 16
yeah,
in Corrupted Cup.
yeah.
So one thing about tournaments, I feel like, and especially now that we have these day 1, day 2, a bigger field than we have in the past,
Hmm.
is that it's not uncommon for players to make a deep run and then not really get a lot of credit about their play.
Hmm.
I know for sure, as one of the panelists on Don't Talk If You Don't Know,
Yeah.
that there are a lot of players who even consistently make deep runs that don't end up getting ranked. And so
Hmm.
one of the things I wanted to ask you is, um, how indicative of your gameplay or of your ability do you think your results have been? Do you feel like you have kind of high roll? Do you feel like you largely deserved your placements because you've had some of the best placements in North America this set?
Um, I guess I feel like I sort of mid rolled. Like it's pretty indicative. Like there's some games I feel like I got absolutely like low rolled, and it's like this game was not playable from the start. I remember last tournament there was a game I took Ludens with blue buff, and I didn't hit a single rod the entire game. I just played rodless AP, and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do about that one? But like in previous tournaments, I had like some 6 admin Exodias, which like played the game for me by itself. So it's like it's a bit of both, right? Like, and I guess if my results were like 1-1, then obviously wouldn't really be indicative of my skill. Like there has to be like some form of high roll to win like 2 tournaments in a row. But like I guess I placed I guess it would be like a good placing, but like I feel like it's pretty indicative of my skill to be able to make the day fours. It's like nothing too nothing too outrageous on like either sides of the spectrum where it's like I'm low rolling completely and like every game is unplayable or like every game is high rolling. I don't need to like think about many decisions at all.
Gotcha. I feel like you are currently in this place where obviously we don't give that much weight to the actual power rankings, but I do
Yeah.
think it's a good thing to have just to spark conversation to bring people's names
Mhm.
up to bring attention to players. And I feel like right now you are definitely making a very strong case for yourself to be kind of in that fringe of making the list, starting to like rise
Mhm.
up against
Yeah.
the old guard, pushing some of them out. And so I feel like Midset Finale is actually a really good opportunity for you to kind of lock it in and say, I deserve to be here with the best of the
Mhm.
best. And so I want to hear your thoughts on Midset. I mean, expectations? Do you feel like you're in form? What are your thoughts being a part of your second Midset? I guess since you started.
I guess for expectations, I guess I'm expecting to at least make it to day two again, just like last set. I feel like I've already, I guess I've already, like, it's already been achieved before for me. It's not like nothing new. I feel like I should be able to at least do the same thing, if not better. And then in terms of my form, they brought AP back. I guess the one thing I didn't say in my pitch, like, I do like to lean AP over AD. So bringing that back is actually quite good for me, especially since there's a lot of like outs in the AP line that weren't really available in like previous tournaments, I guess. Because I think the only things that I thought were playable was like some high roll admin game, and that was about it. But now you can play Talia. I think Soraka is probably fine without like super broken admin and whatnot. You can play like LeBlanc. So like just in general, AP flexes backs, and so for me, my starting items have always been like belt or chain or not, and just play around whatever like I find, and it's not like super pigeonholy into like bow only. I have to play AD. I have to like play whatever four cost AD carry is in the set. So I think this patch will be good for me as well. So hopefully it pans out well.
One of the things they talked about on the latest Don't Talk If You Don't Know podcast was that Clear had mentioned that he feels like there's almost no pressure going into midset because it's like first or bust.
Yeah.
And they had mentioned how Kurum was saying on his stream how he feels like this is all he can think about. Where do
Mhm.
you fall on this spectrum of how much midset means to you?
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't feel too bad if I got day one to like. Obviously, it would suck, but it wouldn't be like break. It wouldn't be like game breaking to an entire like set eight season, right? If I got
Mhm.
instead if I got day one to like corrupted or defender, that would be like really awful. So I do see where he's coming from there, but I think if I were to make like the final lobby, then obviously it would like even if I made the next day, like day two, I'd be taking it a lot more seriously, and I guess I would like try. I would want to do well. It wouldn't be like a oh okay, all good. I'm here now. It's like whatever. I'd obviously take it more seriously, and I think well for us right now in the study group, it's me, Boston Skills, Malala, Wei Iverson. We need the 4 out of 4 to go to Worlds. So one of us needs to win mid set to take one of the spots. So I'll be taking it seriously to try to take one of the spots. Hopefully it wins me so
Your
that I can.
your study group, I feel like, is four completely underrated players in TFT who, or maybe I don't even know if underrated, more like the unknowns. I mean, Wajan Iverson obviously is getting more attention
Mhm.
now. He was
Yeah.
on the DTI YDK podcast. I know he was power ranked by someone in set seven. I don't even remember. But for the
Oh,
most
it's
part, I
we
mean,
always joke about it's Setsuko. That's his biggest
it was
fan.
Setsuko.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was
Yeah.
Setsuko. And Malala, his name's been up also,
Mhm.
I think maybe a little bit memed on because of the whole Soju
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
whatever. So there's history around your study group, but largely, I don't think that you've received a lot of positive light. Do you actually feel like, I don't know, is there a certain sort of pressure to feel like you want to prove that you and your friends are much better than people may give you credit for?
Uh, hmm. I don't know how I feel. Like I guess I can't speak for the others, but for myself, I don't really feel that way. I don't really want to put like unneeded pressure on myself,
Mm,
right?
sure.
I feel like it doesn't really lead to good gameplay if you're always feel pressured to try to prove something to like everybody else. I feel like it's just better to play your own game. But like obviously recognition is good. Like if I do well, I obviously want it. But it's not something like worth thinking over like every like second, right?
Yeah, makes sense. Now, you're talking about the 4 out of 4 going to World, but
Yeah.
we are going to have 2 out of the 4 not going to Midset, but going to the next tournament the weekend after, which is TC3, the New Jersey LAN that I'm hosting alongside some other awesome people in this community.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you: is this going to be your first time competing on LAN, either in TFT or other games?
No, I've played Collegiate League before. We played like a couple LANs.
Really?
Yeah, and I ran like my at my university I ran like a LAN event for TFT as well at one of their events, but I couldn't really I guess I played in it, but like it didn't look good for me to win it, so I just backseated one of my friends instead
Nice, nice.
and just let him win. I just didn't take any prize money because I would it wouldn't look good on like the organization if the
Yeah.
tournament organizer played in it and then also won or something. So I've played lands before, but I don't know. It doesn't seem. I guess the difference is like you're not in the comfort of your own home, whatever. If you're not used to whatever peripherals, but I feel like it shouldn't make that much of a difference for a game like TFT. It's not like I have to bring my own mouse for like the sensitivity. Like I need my own keyboard or whatnot. Like whatever provided at the places, fine
Mhm.
for especially for a game like this, right? Like probably just click roll if you don't like whatever keyboard or it doesn't make that big of a difference to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of it ends up coming down to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I will say, largely for anyone who's watching this and didn't watch TC2, uh, TC series is competitive and it has
Mm.
a lot of really high level talent. I don't think that it's necessarily a high pressure event.
Yeah.
And it ends up being this incredibly stacked local event that just happens to have some of the best players in the world there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's it is a very unique atmosphere in that sense. So I'm curious because like I mentioned, you and Bosso are both going to be there. Obviously the two of you from two different regions. I mean, is there anything you're particularly excited for competing on LAN and TFT, meeting some people from the study group, the other talent that's going to be at the event? What are you excited for?
I guess beating the other TFT people because Boss and I we've already met. He's already made a trip to Toronto with like Kevy and some other people as well. So we've already met up. But meeting like Void Sins, Pokygom, especially Pocky,
Mhm.
he's been talking a lot in like one of the discords that we have. So meeting those people, and I know other people from the community are also coming. So like some viewers from Bossa Skills as well are showing up, and so it's just nice to meet everybody and like put a face to the well, not for like Void Sins or like Pocky, but like because I already know what they look like, but for like other members in the community, it's nice to put a face to the name.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we have quite a large field coming. I know we have Joe Bookmark, we've got Spicy
Yeah,
Affies,
yeah.
Ramkev, Jack. There's a
Mhm,
lot of talent coming out from all over, not just New Jersey, New York, but
mhm.
you're one of the out of state players that's
Yeah.
coming out, and honestly, one of many. So it's pretty cool to have the ability to have so much out of state talent
Mhm.
coming up against Tri-State. I think there's going to be a real feeling of like, can we defend the region from the
Yeah,
outsiders, you know?
yeah.
So I actually did. I always open up these interviews to community questions. And the question I actually got, you answered earlier, and I didn't get the answer I was looking for because Showtime wanted you to talk about your study group.
With
And
him?
I
Oh.
I was under the expectation that it was because he was in this study group, but now it seems like no credit was given to Showtime. Is Showtime to should we be giving Showtime more credit for your success in set 8?
Uh, maybe not. I guess in set 7.5, in set 7.5, I helped him a lot to try to make his like LCQ post on like LCQ push when he was tweeting about how sad the state of ladder was or whatever. And then
Uh
I did a reverse rundown and he took all my LP. So, but sadly, he only made the wait list anyways, so there's no point. This set, I don't know. I've been watching him. He's sort of struggling in the 700s right now, so I can't really say if he's contributing much to study group. although I will say he did outplay Spasso's skills at Corrupted Cup. He made day two.
That's true. He made day two.
Yes, but
probably one of the most shocking results I think that came out of Corrupted Cup was Bosso's placement, actually. And I want to talk to him at some point in the future, so maybe I'll leave that for him to answer. But definitely, I think a result that shocked a lot of people was seeing Bosso get day one. But you know, sometimes that's just TFT, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Showtime's like our mascot. He's the one with like the biggest. He's the biggest social. I guess not the social pull, but like on Twitch, you'll recognize him if he pops up in chat or whatever. So he's the most recognizable one, I think. For bad
that
reasons,
is pretty interesting. When you're talking about, you've got this 4 out of 4 study group that you're expecting to go to Worlds, that you're hoping for a Worlds run this set. And Showtime is definitely a larger personality than all 4 of you, despite maybe not being one of the active members in the study group. So you know what? Everyone needs a mascot. Everyone needs the front face, and maybe Showtime is that for your group. But that's honestly, Minhee, that's everything I have for you. So before we go, one, is there anything else you want to talk about? And if not, go ahead and give your shout outs.
Yeah, I don't think I talked about a lot. I talked about a lot, so there's not much more I would like to add. Not much more I can think of either. I guess all the shoutouts go to people I obviously studied the game with, right? Well, Bosso Skills, Wage and Iverson, I guess Showtime. And then to all my other, like, I know I have a lot of, like, friends in real life who also watch me in tournament, and they're, like, diamond players, whatever, but they do understand the game well enough to, like, know when I'm doing well. And I really do actually appreciate them, like, showing up, because, like, these tournaments sort of take up like a large section of your weekend, right? It's like 6 games on Saturday, 6 games on Sunday, and even this mid-set, it's 6 games on Friday as well, if you were to play all of them. So like for people who actually like show up and watch me and support me, I'm actually like extremely grateful for that.
Thank you again for joining me, Minhee. And to everyone watching this interview, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more TFT content and coverage.